Right, let me bring in John Osae Kwapong, CDD Fellow. I'll come back to Dr. Etuya shortly. For you, John, looking at the latest issues that we have to grapple with, economically speaking, the tax handles that have been increased or brought back, the different, levies that we're being slapped with, and our credit ratings going further down into junk status. What do you make of it all? What could it bode for us in 2023?
Well, good morning. I think for me, the clearest indication of all of these different things coming together is an indication that the road to recovery, to full recovery, will be slow, but also will be quite painful. I was looking at the macroeconomic targets for 2023. And they looked very, very, very modest, and understandably so. Growth is being projected at no more than 2.8. The inflation target is about 18 point something, roughly 19%. And even on that, when I listened to the governor from the central bank talk about the increase in the monetary policy rate, he is actually projecting that inflation would sort of start stabilizing a little bit by the end of first quarter of 2023. But even then, he was pegging it at about 25%. So you clearly see that we have quite a ways to go in terms of full economic recovery and fully turning things around to the point where the kind of pinch points that Ghanaians are feeling will begin to lessen a little bit. But and then again, at the back of a new credit rating downgrade, we are already struggling with this sort of access to the international capital markets. So at the back of another credit rating downgrade, that exacerbates the problem. Hopefully, one of the things that I've been looking forward to is to see the extent to which the actual details of whatever program we are able to strike with the IMF, and what sort of reliefs would come with that in terms of giving the government some room and some space to be able to also speed up certain things that they want to do to turn the economy around. They have a 7-pillar program under the acronym PCPG, in which they identify some key things that they believe, if it is done, would again put the country's economy on a different path, in this post-COVID recovery era. But again, the bottom line for me is that the road ahead is going to be very challenging, very difficult, very painful. But hopefully, at some point, things will turn around, because again,
at what point do you project? At what point do you think things will stabilize at? Because we've heard the Vice President say that soon our economy will bounce back. How soon, we don't know.
Right. Soon is relative. If you look at the budget, and if you look at some of the projections, I think we'll have to give ourselves another maybe 2 to 3 years. Because particularly if you look at the fiscal picture for 2023 and the kind of deficit that the government is staring at, that is one area of concern. And so again, hopefully the IMF program will come in, but even if it comes in, and then when the government fully implements this post-COVID program for economic growth also kicks in, these things don't generate their intended outcomes, or do not produce their intended outcomes overnight. It takes a bit of time. And so for me, ideally, I see a process of another year or two before we start feeling an ease in the pinch points that we've been experiencing.